video is going to be me telling you if these viral books are worth the hype or really, really overrated. It is the worst book, the best books I've ever read. It's so slow paced, would never recommend this. Starting off is the very famous first book, Finding 13. I don't know why people say that it's like sexy. There's no smut at all, no sex in this book, like whatsoever. So you can read this when you're younger as well. It is thick though, like it's a long book. I would say this book is so worth it. I think the second book in the series is a lot better, which is Keeping 13, but this is, you've got to read this to understand the second book. So it has a bit of trigger warnings like family issues, abuse and stuff like that, which may be triggering, but I think overall she displays the emotions and what these people go through so well, and the relationship as well, because we hear from both sides. You'll never be bored while reading this, so I would say that this is definitely a buy. If you don't read series that much, then maybe don't, because it's a long series to get through. Like I'm only on the third book, and I've been reading it for about, God, I don't even know, like 3 months, but that's just because I'm a slow reader. This is definitely my yes pile. For a rating, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. So the next book is Fourth Wing. This is also quite a BookTok series. This is the first book. A bit of a pattern with me is I usually don't go through with reading the whole series, which I haven't done with this one, because although it was good, it didn't live up to the hype in my head. My friend actually recommended me this and she loved it. Like, I think it's one of her favourite books. Me, not so much. I think it's because I'm not really a dystopian kind of girly, which this is a very dystopian book. But I thought it was very slow paced, which I'm not really here for. Definitely worth the read, but once again, it's quite a thick book compared to like normal books, and it is part of a series of 3 books. This one I'd probably give a 6.5 out of 10, only because it was a bit too slow paced for me, but I don't regret reading it. It's just not really for me, but if you're into dystopian, enemies to lovers kind of theme, this one is definitely for you and you should get this. But if you're not, then don't get it. Okay, and then we've got A Court of Thorns and Roses. I don't know. I didn't like this book, like, much at all. I didn't like this book because I felt like it was very much like she couldn't do anything by herself. She needed to have a male romantic interest at all times. I felt like it was very much male-centered, this book, where it kind of felt like she couldn't be independent at all. I mean, I read this book quite a while ago, but I just remember not liking it. I didn't get the next book in the series because I just thought it was a bit like weird. It was really centered around the boy in this book. I wouldn't buy this one. This is one that I would actually probably advise against. I would give this a 5 out of 10 if I'm being honest. I've heard that the later books in the series are a lot better. The same friend that recommended Fourth Wing to me told me that the second book was really good, but the first book just didn't do it for me, so I didn't get around to reading the second book. And it's very slow paced. It's so slow paced. I think it took me to page like 200 to actually get into it. Keep in mind this is page 200, so no, I hate to say it, but this is not my cup of tea at all. I go back on my word where I said the last book was my least favourite. I hated this book. Like, I absolutely despised it. It is the worst book I think I've ever read, and that sounds so bad. I'm sure the writer is really good. I thought I bought Powerless, but I bought Powerful. Oh my god, I'm not trying to be mean. It is awful. I think the only action is in the last like 20 pages. I think people are going to disagree with me on this, but this is just genuinely one of the worst books I think I've ever read, and I feel so bad for saying that because obviously work has been put into this. It's just so bad. Like, I feel like nothing happened. I got kind of this vibe that it was kind of like Hunger Gamey and all of this. There was no action whatsoever. They were like in a cabin for I think 200 pages of the book. This book I really recommend against it, and not because it's a reflection of her writing. It's just for me it really did not click at all, and I really wish I didn't read this book. It was hard to get through. I think because I read it alone, when I don't think it's meant to be read alone, but it just no. I would honestly give this a 2 out of 10, which I feel so bad to say, but it's just not. I really advise against this. It's not what it's meant to give. This next book is called The Murder After the Night Before. I want to say this is one of the best books I've ever read. It's short, it's so fast paced. I think I finished this in like 2 days because it was just incredible. I could recommend this so much. Like, I was actually heartbroken when I finished reading it. It felt kind of like the vibe of Freedom McFadden, but not. It felt a bit more comedic. If I could recommend one book the most, it's this one. I don't think this one's as viral as the others, which it definitely should be because this is so underrated. I would rate this probably a 9.5 out of 10. Definitely one of the highest ones. So definitely get this if you want a good standalone, which you can read quick and is fast paced and won't have you bored at all. And then talking about Freedom McFadden, this is Dear Debbie. This is one of her more new books. I read it only 4 days ago when I was on holiday. It was really good. Do you know, I don't think it was as good as her other books that I've read of hers. This book is definitely still good. I think she always has good twists, but this twist came quite late in the end and it wasn't as surprising as her usual ones are, because I find myself with Freedom McFadden books, I'm like, I know what the plot twist is, and then in the last 10 pages I'm like, what the fuck have I just read? Whereas this one, it was a bit more predictable. It wasn't predictable, but it did feel a bit more, like, not as outgoing as her usual books are. I would give this an 8 out of 10 because I just literally love any book that she produces. And then we've got Girl in Pieces. I don't know, it was a bit too depressing for me and very slow paced. It's not amazing. It didn't stand out to me at all. I can't remember it that much, but I just remember it did not stand out to me. It was so depressing, and when I say depressing, like, not a kind of one where you can be like, that's really sad, and be like, yeah, I'm glad I read it. This is genuinely depressing. There was just something about it that was a bit eerie and a bit off-putting. I would advise against this. I remember when I was reading it and it was very hard to get through. I think it literally took like a month. Definitely not my favourite book. Would never recommend this to a friend. It's just an uncomfortable book, which I don't really like. I'd probably give it a 4 out of 10. Didn't stand out to me at all. Quite a similar one, but a classic, which I probably shouldn't be hating on, is The Virgin Suicides. Again, just really uncomfortable to read and really sad, but it was like, what the fuck, what's happening? Why do people keep dying? What's happening? It just felt like death after death, and we never really got a clear storyline of why any of the girls died. In my opinion, I'd say it was a 6 out of 10. The movie's really good, this not so much. Okay, and then this is another really depressing one, which I didn't actually get through. I think I stopped on page 107, not because it wasn't good, but because it was too sad for me to read. I wouldn't recommend this for anyone that's going through a hard time or has had similar experiences, because I feel like it's very triggering. It's got a deep meaning and it is worth reading it because it has a powerful message, but I just feel like it wasn't the one for me. I didn't really want to get through it. I like to read more upbeat books. I can't really give it a fair rating because I didn't actually finish it, but I would probably give it like a 6.5. Well, the first few pages are not nice to read, but I hope that it ends happily to those who have read it. And the next one of Us Is Lying. This is a series which I have finished the whole series of this book, and it's also a series on Netflix, I think, which is also really good. This book got me into reading, I would kind of say, along with one of these other books I have here. It's just so fast paced and so you never know what happens, which I just loved. Like, this and Good Girl's Guide to Murder, probably my favourite detective kind of books. I would honestly rate this a 9.2. Definitely get this. Honestly, even though it's so hyped up, I'd still say it's underrated and people should still be obsessed with this book. The next book that I was talking about, which also got me into reading, is They Both Die at the End. I feel like this was so popular about 2 years ago. I feel like the book has a really cool concept to it, that you get like a call on the day you're gonna die and you know you're gonna die regardless. So it's just nice seeing people do all the stuff they want to do in one day. I would get this. I mean, it's not as popular anymore as it was, but still, this is one of the books I still remember, even though I read it probably 2 years ago. I would rate this a 7.5 out of 10. Next is The Inheritance Game. This is a series as well. I didn't get on to reading the other books in the series. I didn't like this. It's not what I expected, that's all I can say. It's a bit slow paced, a bit confusing. I wasn't like looking forward to picking this up and reading it, so in my opinion, I don't think it's worth the hype considering how famous this book is. But I would rate it probably 5.5 out of 10. The back of it, it seems so interesting and like it's going to be the book of a lifetime. It's just not, it gives it too much justice. It's not that good. This is probably one of my favourite books. I mean, I'm biased because I started reading this right when I started dating my boyfriend, so it was like a good romance kind of. When I think of this book, I think of my current relationship. but this is just such a good romance. Like, genuinely one of the best books I've ever read. It's not just about romance, seeing a girl get out of her comfort zone and kind of figure out more about herself. I love this book. Again, I'm a bit biased, but this is probably my favourite standalone. It's also a movie, which is also the most beautiful movie I've ever watched. I would give this a 10 out of 10, which is a big score, but for a good book, which is worth it. I don't think this book is as famous as the other books or as viral as them, but it definitely should be. And then last but not least is Twisted Love. This is the start of a series. I didn't read the other books, not because I didn't like it, but just I wasn't that invested. It was a bit weird. It's a bit weird. Definitely a lot of like smut and stuff. This is, I would say, literally just sex. It's fast paced but slow burn. I think it's a really good book. I know that people have mixed opinions on this, but I definitely think it's worth reading. I mean, compared to some of these books, it's worth the hype. From this book, reading it as a standalone, I thought it was pretty good. So, which surprised me because people were saying reviews that it's actually not that good. In my opinion, I thought it was really good. I'd give this a 7 out of 10. So I actually think you should read this. Okay, those are all my opinions on the books. Of course, I have a lot more books that I can review and tell you guys if they're worth buying. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and like. Have a good morning, a good evening, a good afternoon, or a good night wherever you are.